Cause you 16, nigga. I don't give a fuck. The fuck? I'm 19. I know niggas that are 16, 17, nigga. I'm still going dick on them, bro. What the fuck?
Alright, so before I begin this video, let me give y'all a little rundown on how all of this began. If you want to get the full context of this situation, I recommend you to watch Fashir's video on it, as I feel like he explained it pretty well. But yeah, like 2 days ago, Fresh Boy Swag and Destroying Lonely both got exposed for being terrible people. Now, STUNMIC, if you don't know who that is Osama's son's creative director. He's behind the brand Rehab and has also designed a lot of merch. Design in quotations, of course, because it was just stolen designs. But anyways, he decided to give his own opinion on this topic by quote tweeting one of the tweets about it and saying that they should die, referring to Fresh Boy Swag and Destroy Lonely. Now, Quinn, who is a very popular hyperpop artist, has a lot of listeners, and is also really big in the underground, decided to call out STUNMIC for being a hypocrite, but more importantly, being an R-worder. Now, he claimed that he is a serial R-worder, that he has done the thing to multiple women at this point. He also brought up an old post made on Reddit where someone claims that STUNMIC R-worded them, and they basically argued for a little bit later, and that's where we get to this point. All right. Again, I recommend you to watch Fashir's video. This is not the full story explained. I'm trying to shorten this as much as possible. This is not what this video is about. This is like a continuation of this story. If you don't feel like this is enough for you, watch Fashir's video, then come back to this one. So after this, STUNMIC posted a bunch of screenshots of a conversation he or someone else, I'm not really sure, because he kind of refers to himself in third person, so I'm not really sure who was the person there, but the conversation they had with Quinn. What we can gather from this convo is that Quinn agreed to contact the girl that was R-worded by STUNMIC in order to get her to prove his innocence. And on top of that, they also agreed to stop speaking about what had happened publicly until they resolved the situation in private. But what Quinn decided to do is basically disobey everything they agreed on, decided to call out STUNMIC for being an R-worder publicly, make all of this public, and then later deactivate. Now, what Quinn claims happened, on the other hand, is that she never agreed to get the victim in contact with STUNMIC to prove his innocence, but only to try her best and only to gather more evidence, not to completely disprove the claims. She also said that she never truly reunited with STUNMIC after the fate happened. Like, just because STUNMIC tweeted that handshake emoji doesn't mean that they both felt that way. And yeah, unfortunately, here's where the story gets way, way worse, because like 15 minutes after these tweets were posted, @LullabyOfSex decided to make a post on Twitter claiming that STUNMIC had R-worded her. Now, what differentiated this claim from all the other claims that were made on Reddit is that she actually provided hard evidence. She actually provided proof. But let me go over the story, try and explain to y'all. So, back in April, STUNMIC hit her up and asked to play pool with her. Since they had a lot of mutual friends and a lot of mutual followers, she agreed to go. She felt safe, because she felt like he wouldn't do nothing to her, right? So once she arrived at his crib, STUNMIC immediately offered her weed, and she ended up smoking a little bit too much, which made her really anxious. She then later told STUNMIC about it. She told him that she was really anxious, but STUNMIC didn't really care, and asked her for a kiss, which she agreed to. Then later, he asked her whether she wanted to go to his bed or to his basement. Now remember this, because this will be more useful when I explain STUNMIC's story. So make sure to remember this question he asked her, right? So, she decided to say bed, and STUNMIC immediately began pressuring her into sex. Now, she kept on saying no, so STUNMIC decided to put his fingers in his mouth and ask her if she wanted to do it. Now, she thought that he was trying to... Can I say this? I don't care. She thought he was trying to finger her, not have sex with her. So she said yes. But instead of doing that, STUNMIC began R-wording her. Now, I don't really want to get into detail on how that went down, as I don't feel like that's like appropriate for YouTube. I don't know if I can even say the things he did. But yeah, if you're interested in learning on that, I've left a link to the screenshots she posted in the description below. So you can read it all there, I guess. But the only thing I want to say is that during the whole intercourse, she felt so disgusted by kissing STUNMIC that she decided to kiss him on the neck instead, which ended up giving him a hickey. Which you should also remember, because this will also be essential for STUNMIC's story. Now, she said that she felt really uncomfortable during this whole interaction, and that she even tried leaving, but unfortunately the friend who was supposed to pick her up wasn't answering since he or she was asleep. But after the intercourse ended, she began gaslighting herself into believing that what had happened was not R-word, that it was all good. And the reason why she was doing that is because before the whole thing went down, STUNMIC offered her a lot of opportunities. He said that she could model for his brand, he was going to take her out somewhere nice. he was going to buy her a lot of stuff. So she didn't really want to, cut him off, as, she didn't really want to lose those opportunities. So then for a couple hours, they texted back and forth, they flirted. And remember, the only reason why she was doing this is because of the opportunities STUNMIC had offered her before. Like during this, she internally felt really uncomfortable, but she was kind of still gaslighting herself into believing that nothing really went down and it was all good. But after around 10 hours, she finally realized that it had really went down, that she was really R-worded, and went to the hospital. She then shows us a bunch of hospital records for proof. You can see right here. It shows proof of her buying a sexual assault kit. I'm not really sure what that is. And also shows that the reason why she visited the doctor was because she was sexually assaulted. And the diagnosis was sexual assault of adult. And on top of that, she also shows us a text conversation she had with her friend that was supposed to pick her up from the hospital. Now, even on top of that, she also shows a Reddit post she made on r/rword in which she discusses her complete disgust, and like she kind of shows like how she was still kind of gaslighting herself into believing nothing had happened and how she really felt. But what about STUNMIC's side of the story? Well, he claims that the only reason why he asked her to go to his basement, which I talked about earlier, was because he wanted to print her some boxers, which she had asked for before. Now, evidence for this will be shown later. Right now, I'm just trying to explain the story, but I'll show everything later, all right? On top of that, he claims that he has asked her multiple times for consent, and every time she said yes. And anytime he wanted to do something new, he would always ask her if she's okay with that. And then he posted a bunch of screenshots. In the first screenshot, it shows the beginning of their conversation, shows a screenshot of like the Uber ride, which he ordered her to visit him. Then it shows another part of their conversation where she's thanking him for giving her the boxers. At least that's what I think they're talking about, because it says, did you get an XL? So I think it's boxers. I'm not sure, but that would make kind of sense to the story. And then in the end, he shows her a picture of the hickey she gave him, which, if you don't remember, I talked about this earlier. And yeah, in his final 2 tweets, STUNMIC says that he didn't do anything wrong, and that the victim's story is full of lies, and that he's also going to take her to court. Now, after this, he decided to completely deactivate his Twitter, which I think he did it because, not to really hide evidence, because his page is already archived on archive.org, so it wouldn't really make sense. But I feel more like to just avoid kind of being hated, avoid everyone just, spamming him, which is understandable, but still. In my opinion, it's not really looking good for STUNMIC, alright? In my opinion, the girl's story seems way, way, way more probable. It is also vouched by many people, such as, for example, Street Dank, which, if you don't know, is basically friends with most people in the underground. Like, he was posted up with Che, he was posted up with a lot of people. He's also really good friends with Quinn. So I don't feel like he would lie. I feel like he's definitely a very trustworthy source of information. And yeah, if her side of the story is true, I truly do hope that STUNMIC gets the punishment he deserves. That he does go to jail, I hope he goes to jail. I don't know really how else he could get punished. I also hope that Osama-san and everyone STUNMIC has worked with will cut them off, which I'm pretty sure it will happen, but we'll never really sure. And to all the victims of sexual assault or R-wording that are watching this, never be afraid to speak out, because the sooner you speak out, the less likely it is for these people to harm someone again, ruin someone's life. And even if it's a really beloved person and you're definitely going to get hate for speaking out, it's always best to speak out. Anyways, I'll make sure to report on this situation if more information comes out. As of now, this is it. But yeah, for STUNMIC, if you're watching this, go ahead and dial her, bro.